you're still mine. And now we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. We're not lonely in the dark. I know you are with me, yeah. Don't you see that I need you so much?
Alrighty, welcome back. We are up for the last run of the day. It's gonna be ran. It's the Outlast trials ran by H Delusional. He's gonna have Demoxide, CJ, and Nerd Squared from earlier back on the run, commentating. So yeah, take it away, boys, and have fun.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Outlast Trials. You may have remembered this game from the last marathon, but this time instead of 4 people, it is just me. Main reason, it just takes things a little bit slower, really more understands what this game instead of there's 4 people just running around doing their own thing. It'd be kind of confusing. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm CJ. I like to claim myself as the weirdest member of the community, mainly because I have my click bound to space.
I did not know that. Hello, I'm Demoxide. You might remember me. I was part of the previous run, but sitting back and just helping out commentate this time.
Hi, I'm Nerd. I did the Poppy Playtime run earlier. I don't run this series as much, but I know a fair bit about some of the trials in this. But I haven't ran with the 1.0 full release version, which I'm sure we'll get into. So very, very curious about how this run's going to pan out. I'm the hype man for this run, basically.
Yeah, so just a couple of things, because there's a lot of like back-end stuff with this game before we do get started. So yeah, this game did fully come out in March, and one of the biggest changes was the new amp system. So before, remember the perks that we used? Now it's just 1 perk per session, so this is basically our loadout for the entire run. There are some trials that you would change it up somewhat, but it's really not as needed for the ones we're going to do today. One of the 2 new ones that are introduced, Smash, basically makes we can hit down locked doors in 1 hit, and Boosted, just to add to the insane amount of RNG that is already in this game, you basically get a random booster at the start. We really want Stamina, because it basically gives us more stamina. For the harder missions, which we are doing today, health is not terrible, but if we get Battery, we're just kind of out of luck. Battery is the worst. So let's go ahead and get started. So we will be doing all the main trials, but instead of like the easiest version like we did in winter, we'll actually be doing the harder variants. And we'll kind of be going in order of the difficulty. So we'll start with easier and we're in the hardest one. So we're going to start off with Cleanse the Orphans. And for these first 2 trials, the example of the variatives we'll have is increased threat, more and stronger enemies, extra traps, and basically unreliable doors. So yeah, let's go ahead get started. And just as a warning, a censorship warning, when we at the start of each trial, we basically mark off how this game goes. Basically, like trying to trick your mind, brainwash you. So there will be like a TV screen that kind of explains each mission. But then after each screen, there's kind of some you gotta get gassed up and you hallucinate, and there might be some obscene images, and there's also flashing lights. So if you do need to look away, you would, and when the music stops, that's when you can like look back. But go ahead and get brainwashed. We can start the time if you haven't yet.
Education and faith must follow our mandates. Children will learn obedience. Shape them young, and they're ours for life. Teach the children. Give them first communion, and we will let you out.
Hello, Mother Gooseberry. Alright, it's safe to look back. I kind of had to look away for one scene because I knew what was coming. Alright, so like during the mission, I'll pretty much leave it up to my commentators. A lot of the parts are hard to talk and do at the same time, so go ahead, take it away. And of course, you get battery.
Alright. So I'm going to explain what we're actually doing in this trial, because the opening cutscene basically gives you nothing. We're gonna start off by tuning some radios in the upper floor. We're gonna drop down, swap out some film reels, and then we're going to do something which I don't know if Twitch likes me saying out loud.
What? Feeding children first communion? That's pretty Twitch safe.
Not the word choice I was gonna use, we'll go with that.
I kind of missed the cycle. This whole like door cycle is based off of the mannequins. So if you miss the cycle, then you have to kind of wait. Oh, hello, Mother.
Yeah, so in comparison to the regular runs, this part's pretty close to the same as what you would usually expect. Really, the only difference is you see a lot more of the prime assets, the one that can really hurt, as well as a couple extra enemies. But as we finish the tuners, we're going to be heading downstairs, and we will move into the next section dealing with the reels. So with this, there is a little bit of an audio cue, so we'll let Ace listen here.
Yeah, so you kind of like have to listen. So you can hear the classroom through the walls. So I can already tell there's not one in classroom 3.
But a lot of runners, because of that, they tend to use the actual the game volume cranked up, but put down any sort of music or sound effects, just so that you can hear it a little bit better. Just to listen to the song that's played every single time. But here we're just gonna set everything up, just so that we can obviously move everything in. This area is pretty straightforward. You can have some unlucky spawns sometimes with some of the prime assets that can cause a little bit more of a difficulty, but overall it's just changing out from one very interesting song to another with the films and just trying not to get hit.
I don't know if I would classify what we're changing to as a song, but...
And this is also some of the differences with solo in comparison to doing any sort of group run as well, is because you don't have anybody to necessarily draw away some of the bigger guys that might obviously damage you. There is a little bit more looping, a little bit more of just running in circles and just using basically your load in its best just for the noise reduction, just so that you're not ever going to have to worry about getting any additional damage.
And which is especially important as Ace is playing the harder variations of the trials.
Yeah, those big guys, especially like when you get to the even harder ones, they hurt. Which is why getting the health booster is not necessarily a bad thing.
And then for this next part, we will just also just do a quick minor warning. We obviously will minimize a lot of stuff, but there is minor nudity at points. There is some blood, just as the forewarning. Most of it's avoidable, but just in case it is stuff that you dislike. But also, welcome to Outlast.
You're watching a trial stream. You get the gist of what to expect.
Exactly.
Yeah, just imagine.
Oh, where's the gas? There's.
Yeah, with the gore, just imagine the amount of violent stuff you saw in my Scorn run last event. Multiply that by 10. That's Trials.
But so right now we're going to be working on setting up the. This part can be a little bit finicky just because there is a prime asset that has night vision down here. And that can cause for a little bit of issues with trying to be sneaky in any sense. But then from there, we'll head upstairs, try find 2 keys, and we'll move on to our final steps before communion.
I purposely did not want to use my stun here because the grunt here can honestly be more annoying. So I wanted to save my stun for this grunt just in case. We kind of use the symbols on the bodies to figure out where the key is. Oh! Alright, the grunt just appeared out of nowhere when I was screaming. Oh, that's unfortunate.
And I think this is a good time to also explain. So one difference you'll see between group runs in comparison to solo. Solo does have some respawns. Previously it was unlimited. It is now limited to 3. Although you can find pills across the map as items that you can take that will give you an additional life. But with Ace dying there, it's not too big of a deal. Unfortunate little bit of a time loss, but...
Yeah, I had a screamer completely block out my screen, and the grunt knocked me over. And the gas man spawning, yay!
The reason why we're excited for the gas man spawning is because of a feature called Psychosis Abuse, which since Ace is getting close to the end of the trial, it's not going to matter much, but all enemies will ignore you as long as you're insane.
Yeah, so for objectives like this, where you have to stand still for a little bit, that's going to be very helpful.
Contrary to that, it was kind of just unfortunate timing here. Just as he spawned in this area, we cannot move forward until he is out of this room. So we kind of just have to hang out, wait for him to either despawn, or for his attention to go elsewhere, which thankfully didn't take very long there. Now, as this final part is setting up here, we're getting ready to exit the trial, so we will make our way all the way through back the way we came. to where we first initially spawned. At that point, we will have to wait 10 seconds after hitting a button. For the most part, most levels, it's not too concerning. You tend to have a little bit of corners that you can hide in or items that you can throw at this point that you can use to kind of distract. But this can be a little bit of a terrifying ending of the run if you do have some asset like this following you, especially if you only have 1 bar of health.
But there are some easy ways to be able to like juke some hits, so not terrible, but it can definitely cause some nerves to go up if you're like 1 hit from dying. Alright, so one other change that happened recently, which is probably worth noting while we go into the next mission. So in this recent update was introduced a new event. It's focused on the 2 prime assets of the game, Mother Gooseberry and Coil. But they actually got new abilities that make them more unique. Before, they used to just be like any other grunt and just cause damage. But now, when Coil hits you, you actually lose the ability to use your loadout, your rig, for like 20 seconds. And then Mother Gooseberry will actually cause you to hemorrhage for a bar of health. So after you get hit, you'll constantly lose health until that bar is either gone or you use the new healing item, the bandage. So just a couple of things to note out for those new abilities. So now we're going to Vindicate the Guilty, one of the newer trials in the game. I'm pretty sure we did in the last run too. Now we'll go back to one of the Coil missions. And this will be the same difficulty as you saw in Cleanse.
You are justice. You are loyal. We cannot allow the tyranny of facts and impartial reason to condemn the people who protect and guide you. The past is changeable. The future is set. Sabotage the court, kill the judge, and we will let you out.
So once again, a content warning for this part. Yeah, one other cool thing Red Barrels does with the prime assets is they really base the trials around them. So you'll usually only see 1 prime asset per like location. Mother Gooseberry trials are more based on like family matters. So like we're just in the orphanage, and Coil's trials are more based on like law and order. So that's why we are in the courthouse, and his other one is the police station. And once again, we get battery. Great RNG.
So now that we're out of the initial cutscene, I'm going to explain the trial again, because it basically gives you nothing. We are going to get to the courtroom as fast as possible, and then we're going to be presented with our first task of destroying the evidence, where we will need to collect acid and, of course, the evidence. We're going to return to the courtroom and kill some witnesses, and finally we will kill the judge.
It's also a good thing to know with this as well. We did see a little bit of a, even though this is the harder difficulty, we did see a recent kind of nerf on this level. In that we no longer need to fetch as many acids as well as evidences in comparison to what we previously had to. So it does make it a little bit quicker overall. But this level itself, it is a little bit unique in that there is a lot of forced cutscenes. So similar to right now, where it'll kind of explain the next step, but we just kind of have to sit here and wait in the meantime. So in this room here, we're going to see 4 numbers. All based upon a triangle. It'll give us a 4-digit code basically for unlocking. If we are incorrect with it, it will damage us. And if we take too long, it'll set off a siren, which can bring coil over to us. So it is a little bit of a finicky part off the start. But once you kind of get it down, you kind of know where to look. But there are some very, very weird angles, as we'll probably see throughout this run, with trying to find those numbers. So with us getting the first acid, Ace is going to take basically the way behind to start looking for the evidences, just to avoid contact as much as possible. It's looking just...
I just missed it.
Yeah.
Just then, I'm a little bit behind. Ace ran through basically a door that's disabling his rig in that area. If he runs back through, it's re-enabled, but it's kind of an issue.
So here it's kind of a quick way to go down with the S. The only problem is you take 2.5 bars of health. So it's really risky, but it's worth the time save. Now we're gonna get the evidence.
So with this again, it'll just be the same thing as what we saw before, but in these rooms, perspective is very, very important. Standing in the wrong place sometimes can just mean you're not seeing a number at all. So it gets, like I mentioned, very, very finicky with this at points.
Where's the last number?
As we can see exactly right now.
Let's see.
These numbers are
Hiding
very
behind the
annoying.
desk.
Yeah, previously, we would have had to do multiple evidences, but thankfully we don't anymore.
Yeah, sometimes the doors just glitch out and just takes you the wrong way.
Additionally, with the pathing, you can also see, again, in comparison to where we might, that's a very unlucky spawn, where we might have just initially ran past Coil. At this point, we don't really want to risk it just because of the increase in damage. It's an easy way to lose a life and just, again, lose additional time.
So this next part, we are going to be killing the witnesses. Ace will be given 2 items, a microwave trigger and a tracker. I don't know if he's gonna take the tracker or not.
I will not be.
Okay. On the upper floor, I'm pretty sure, is where there is another one of those doors that disables your rig, which would be more important if Ace was using the strong arm loadout.
Got one brick. Alright, so if you remember last time, we kind of used a strong arm to really help with this section. But because it's in the same area as Smash, I don't want to change it out, because Smash is really an overpowered rig. Or item. Or perk, whatever it's called. So it's still possible to do the strat without strong arm. It's just a lot harder and takes some like more precise timing. So we don't take the tracker. It's really easy to find them just by listening. I say that I cannot find the witness. Okay, where's the witness?
So as I said, it's kind of easy to hear them. Unfortunately, it is not very easy to see them.
Hey, you, come here!
Is he right here? Oh,
All right, haven't gained. I got the first one. We're not going to run up
it's a
upstairs.
older hit. But now I wouldn't be able to kill it just based on the spawns. I just went upstairs first, and there's a prime example of they can really see you and just run away instantly. This run up here is also very annoying. That's one hit.
Additionally, at times you might also see Ace jump rather than just running. Especially with glass on the ground, it is very much a lot quieter, and the sound doesn't tend to register as much. So it's an easy way to kind of move around without alerting any of the enemies around you, just to be able to get them a little bit quicker and quieter. Noise reduction helps tremendously with that too. It looks like we had a. Oh, go ahead.
No, Demon Oxide, you can continue.
Oh, just gonna say, just looks like we got a lucky spawn for the final witness there, which will obviously move us back to the final portion of the courtroom here.
Yeah, so that was basically the strat with that strong arm is you kind of have to delay the brick throw. The brick will still bring it down to be able to like. But the main problem is the thing takes a while to recharge. Usually with strong arm, he'll be down the whole time, but he won't do that without strong arm. So you kind of delay the brick throw. Use like a bottle and then a brick.
So Ace is running into this back section of the courtroom here, so he is able to turn on the ability to kill the judge.
What do you want me to say? Just tell me. What do you want me to say?
There are two in the back, but you only need to get one to activate each side, so...
Also, it's important to note, Ace, when he came back into this main room, closed every door. And the reason he did that is it just delays Coil from being able to get in here, so that by the time that we use our stun, we should be able to basically kill the judge here.
He was very close. I can run. Yeah, X, you can get very close to finishing it before he gets unstunned.
And sometimes with those as well, depending on obviously what initially grabs the attention of Coil, you can sometimes just run into situations where he won't even come out front at all. So there's a lot of RNG there and just paying attention to your surroundings and being ready to adapt in the moment.
I'll show you.
But as we finally juke the final couple enemies here, that brings us to the end of the courthouse.
That was not a pretty courthouse. Alright, next we're going back to we're going to the police station once again, having Coil. And so this one will also be a little bit harder. This is technically the exam of Program X. So let's see. So we have increased threat again. The traps are more deadly. We have limited items, limited intel. So basically, that's like the thing that pops up when we get like close to something. And then unreliable doors again. So originally, this was this is the one that you really start the game off of. This is like the first trial that people will see.
Yeah, if you played this game back when it was just a closed beta, this is the only trial we had available.
You are the exterminator. Only we can tell you what is true. There is a snitch inside the prison, preparing to testify against our truth. Kill the snitch, and we will let you out.
Alright. Who's ready to kill the snitch?
Yeah, and also just seeing that in chat. Honestly, our lovely runner here, Ace, he really is the one who basically did almost all of the groundwork. He basically did that entire guide, so there's definitely a lot of props that need to go out to him for that.
Yeah. You can probably tell with him running on the highest difficulty here, but Ace is cracked at this game. You were saying?
Also, one thing to note that happened before, sometimes you'll see me throw this stone on the ground just randomly, and the reason for that is just it resets my stamina all the way. And with the actual release of the 1.0, they actually made it so the stun, you can see it's already recharged.
Yeah.
When the sun doesn't hit like an enemy, it shortened it, I think, by like only a third of what it usually is. So instead of like a minute and a half cooldown, it's only like 22 seconds. So it's really worth it to reset your stamina a lot.
Alright, I'm gonna do what I did with the rest of the other trials and just give a rundown of what we're doing. Basically, we're trying to push the snitch along a track to eventually kill him. The power is gonna get shut off by Coil, so we're gonna need to go turn that on, and then we're gonna need to get 4 keys to unlock some barriers.
One additional note I completely forgot about to tell. So with the this only applies to the main trials, not the MK challenges. But the challenges are actually based on like the number of people that are in the game. So when you're in a solo or duo, the amount of objectives are less than what a trio or a quad would see. That's also another reason that you'll see less objectives than what they did before. So you have a very nice generator spawn. So that I have a specific route I do this because that gas can, unless the generator is right there, that is a set gas spawn. So it's just a really nice way to get a gas. I forgot to just turn it on.
I think that's a mistake that pretty much anybody who runs this trial's made once or twice. But with us finishing the generators down in the basement, and a little bit of a close call with
Coil!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We will now move upstairs to grab our keys. So the first one, it's a very, very simple key. It's basically just to show you the mechanic of how everything works. But then from there, the rest can be pretty much anywhere within specific sections. So we need to find each key in each section. And although this is actually a little bit difficult as it is, it's even worse right now just since we do not really get any notification unless you're right up against a corpse like this of what corpse is there.
That's okay. I'm having some lag spike right now.
Yeah, it is an online game, so it can rubber band like that sometimes.
Yeah, usually I can put that key in, but she got unstunned.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little dicey.
This is the pain of speedrunning online games.
Yeah, this is an example of a trial that would really benefit from a stamina booster. But unfortunately, we did not get that.
Stamina booster doesn't make the stamina infinite.
You respawned here. I have never seen that before.
Yeah, I was asking with the stamina, with the boosted stamina, doesn't make it infinite.
Not infinite, but it's significantly increased.
It's double, basically.
Yeah. You get another row.
Don't you run from me!
Alright. Like I said, I'm the curious observer. I casually speedrun this sometimes, so not in the know about a lot of the strats, so it's interesting seeing it play out in real time.
I ain't screwed over by some of the enemy spawns right now.
And that is a big part of Outlast Trials is with the RNG, sometimes just simple spawns can be really what makes or breaks basically a world record pace. And being able to adapt on the fly. But the keys themselves, like I mentioned, just with no notice, it's very, very easy when you're getting chased to run past some bodies. And you just think that it's just a regular body on the floor.
And these keys do have like set spawns in their rooms, so I'm kind of just going through them. I am kind of getting unlucky, and they're kind of in the last places I'm checking. Oh, it's Spade. Ah!
But of course, you don't ever expect any good RNG when you're doing a marathon, though.
Your bottle. Psychosis.
So this is what we were talking about earlier with psychosis. Now, there is a way that you can abuse this at points because enemies will not be focused on you. However, the downfall is you are getting chased by the Skinner Man. So while we're pushing right here, you'll see the Skinner Man probably coming from our right here, and he will damage you quite a bit. So thankfully, actually, we were able to avoid any damage there, but it can take, especially in this mode, a lot of damage away from you. Oh, weird. We're just moving into our final section here. Now, there's quite a few spawns that are very close to the door that Ace just went through. So it's just very much an easy path just to kind of check right there instead of pushing it all the way.
And he also has to avoid those cameras, because those cameras have a laser on them, where if they detect you, it brings down a shutter that shuts off points of access.
And I have a big grunt following me. Yeah.
Let's join the party.
Yeah, we're having a real party over here.
All you have to do is play your part.
Hopefully Coil did not spawn yet.
So similar to what we saw in Vindicate the Guilty at the Courthouse, we have another another switch that we just have to hold until it gets to 100%. Now, Coil, we're able to distract him pretty much for everything, but he sometimes can come at us just at the end and make very close timing.
2% off.
There's one frenzy that I do want to note for this final section. When Ace was initially going downstairs to the generators, there is the ability to only open one door and close it behind you, so Coil takes slightly longer to get to you. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who does that, but I found it really useful.
And one other thing worth noting is that on most doors, he's going to crouch before opening it. Because occasionally on doors, you can get those traps that take a health bar off you. But crouching lets you avoid those.
I got an unlucky lunge attack. So sometimes, usually the way to shoot people out is to just like run towards them and then jump back, and they usually just attack. But every now and then they'll just suddenly will just want to lunge like 20 feet in front of them, and they'll hit you. Like what just happened. Unfortunately, there's no way to avoid that. And that's really the only way you can really shoot them out. They have really smart. Their AI is kind of smarter than you may think. If you try to jump around them and they attack, their attack will actually just like magically move to the side, and they will hit you. There's no way to avoid it. So it's really the only known way of shooting an enemy.
Next, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to be switching to Program Ultra to do Pervert the Featherman.
Yes. So it also changed in the 1.0 release was the program system. So instead of 2, now we have 3, and they introduced a lot of the biggest problem a lot of players had in the early access was the hardest difficulty was just not hard enough. So they introduced Ultra, which was even harder. So basically, it's just one variator, basically extreme enemies, hostile environment. The big killer is the extended rig cooldown. We have less inventory space, no intel, and for multiplayer, no player names, so you can't tell where your teammates are at all. So, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go to Pervert the Fireman.
Fun fact, because I never play the harder stuff in this game, I don't have Ultra unlocked.
Okay. So this is actually a new trial that was also introduced in 1.0. So, if you saw the run back in December, this will be the new one. And we're going, it's in the Toy Factory.
Yeah, IHS debut right here.
And, of course, quick heads up.
You are the Revelator. What you build exposes the perversion latent in every heart. We cannot allow hidden messages and innuendo to corrupt our children. Expose, humiliate, and destroy the deviant, and we will
So a little fun fact about this, basically location. So even though we do have Mother Gooseberry, if you don't know, the puppet on her hand actually has a name. It's Dr. Futterman. And this trial is actually based around Dr. Futterman. Yeah, you finally got stamina.
Alright, so now that we're leaving the shuttle, I'm going to do my normal explanation of what we're gonna do in the trial. First, we're gonna go downstairs to get the key to the front door, and then Nerd, I think, is the only one besides Ace who actually knows the route for the upstairs version. But basically, we're going to be getting boxes and keys to unlock the passage to turn... Yeah, I don't know if Twitch likes this wording either, so I'm gonna stop there.
They're going to be dealing with toys for adult satisfaction.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to word it.
So in this beginning part, Ace is just trying to grab these boxes and get them to the conveyor belt. Now this grunt that is right there can be very annoying, which is why you're seeing one of the first times that we're using that psychosis. Can't think of the word right now. Exploit.
Psychosis strat, yeah.
Yeah. Just so that we don't need to worry about it coming and attacking at all. But again, like I mentioned previously, you can see it did take a lot of damage though still.
Where did you come from, my guy?
Peekaboo!
I didn't even hear you.
Oh, wow. He snow attacked you.
He just came out of nowhere. But I purposely went into psychosis to try to avoid it, and I guess it did not work. I just missed a cycle.
So that's the unfortunate thing with this trial, and we will see it later on with some of the other strats that we'll be working. This is a fixed conveyor belt. Unfortunately, if you miss the cycle, all that you can do is just sit and just wait for it to go all the way back around here. So
One thing I do want to point out, even though it will never be used unless we find a better strategy for it, it is technically possible to skip set conveyor belts by using enemies, but it has to be perfect conditions, and it is super finicky.
Yeah, this grunt just knows exactly where I am at all times.
yeah, I've never seen such an accurate grunt.
Oh my god.
Alright, so we are now gonna head upstairs into the main toy factory here now. Now, as mentioned before, this is going to be a little bit of a weird, kind of unique strategy. And there's going to be some kind of back and forth. Now, there's a little bit of risk to this, just because if we do mess it up, it does lose about a minute in total for time. But it is going to be... basically, what we're going to be doing is we are going to grab a key from upstairs to start everything off, and then we're going to be looking for boxes. Now, each of these boxes need to go to its corresponding place of A, B, or C. The B one we can also see eventually, once everything's turned on, we can see what the B code is from a TV screen, basically from that office we were just in. But fortunate spawn again. But we will go through these boxes and try find the correct box that we need for each section. Now, it is important to note, these boxes, we used to have a strat called basically as another YOLO strat, which we would just grab random boxes, and we would basically just put it down if it was wrong, because if it is wrong, it'll start ticking, and then it'll explode. Unfortunately now, it doesn't give you as much time. So you pretty much are taking damage, or you are getting gassed for psychosis pretty much right away. But Ace here is going to find his A box, and then he is going to try some random C boxes here. And just a matter of just trying to save a little bit of time.
Because I am one bar of health and another is just chasing me everywhere, I'm probably not going to do the yellow strat.
All right, so then we will not do this strat that I was about to explain.
Yeah.
But we'll just basically spend this time waiting for the box to make its way downstairs, which does take a little bit of a time. It's not a quick thing, but it's not terrible for this one. It does get worse as you go longer, though, for some longer and longer boxes.
Assembly feeder full. Assembly line resuming.
Once I got the...
What they're doing to me! This is a fucking travesty! I'll hurt them. My beautiful pig!
I got the bandage, so maybe I will.
All right.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
And this is kind of the beauty of what you see in Outlast Trials is you can have strats. There are strats for everything. A lot of it is just understanding and adapting on the fly. And honestly, that's just usually what makes a good speedrunner for Outlast Trials is just your adaptability within these situations.
So
But it looks like Ace is going to take the safe route and just go check the numbers, and then we'll check the keys that we need, which will be upstairs. So he'll circle back and then just take it safe, especially with the harder difficulty. If we had a little bit more help, it would be a little bit easier, but unfortunately, at this point, especially having lost a life, it can get very, very tricky and very, very easy to kind of lose the run completely. So
I think that's the impressive part of the run to me, just like watching it right now, is memorizing all these random spawns. Because obviously we're only doing the main trials here, but there's also a bunch of side missions, the NK challenges we kind of mentioned before, that you can do. And each of those have their own random spawns with their own strats for each of them. So keeping that all in your head is a lot.
Wow, there's like 4 grunts here. Oh my god.
I was just about to say you,
Oh my goodness.
you were getting very unlucky spawns.
So, to add on to what Nerd said about memorization, Outlast Trials is calculated off seeds. There is no way to tell during the trial, you're only told after. There is ways to recognize them, but basically nobody does it except for one person, so...
Alright, so the bad thing about doing the safe strat is now you're just kind of waiting for the conveyor belt. One good thing about the yellow strat for solo is you really are trying to take down this waiting time by doing other things. But I just, with how unlucky I'm getting in this trial, I just don't want to risk it. So the reason we have to use the conveyor belt is because, like, on Quincy Orphans, we can't go through these doors with those boxes. Another thing is also on top of the conveyor belts, we also have the conveyor belt for the toy that we are moving. So one strat might be to just find everything like we are now. But the bad thing is now you're just waiting for the cycle of the toy, which can be bad. Where is Mother?
In summary, this trial is a lot of waiting.
My daddy is a respectable doctor, Daddy, not some gutter filth slut.
Nope.
Don't flirt. Where do you think I'm going?
Right now, you are seeing one of the major downsides for ultra speedrunning, which is the increased free time.
Yeah, I'm just running for my life.
Oh, she is playing defense there. She was blocking the door.
It wasn't even close.
Alright, so now we have made our toy. I would have showed you the process, but some parts of it could be pretty nasty. So now, instead of sending it to the loading docks, because the toy is deemed infective, so we are changing the route, and we are sending it to the incinerator.
I have never realized that detail before. So for the incinerator, basically we're going to have to go find another valve, which you'll see more of in the next trial, but we're going to have to find a valve to turn on the pump, which basically allows us to burn it.
Additionally, right now, just because we do have to wait for the toy to make its way through its set path, there's a little bit of time to kill, so you do see Ace maximizing on that time by just opening doors that we will need to eventually go through here, just so that we don't have to worry about opening doors afterwards. Just save the couple split seconds here and there.
This is a really good pipe spawn. So how this
In
pipe
comparison-
works, actually, okay, never mind. So the pipe actually works as a timer. So you kind of do it just enough to where you actually need it to burn it before the time runs out. I'm just gonna wait for the psychosis to wear out.
Yeah, unfortunately here Ace did get psychosis, and he can't tank the objective because of his health and also ultra difficulty.
Let's try this again. That gas man was just in the worst spawn ever.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually ever seen him come from right there before, even.
Yeah, he spawned right there as I was opening the garage door. He just sticked around.
But here we're finishing with the burning of the toy for adult entertainment, and making our way, unfortunately.
I don't
under
want
that
to talk.
vent.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it. Don't say anything.
We heard you're on YouTube order speedruns.
All right, where were we? We were running to the exit.
Oh, we're
we did
gonna make
not
our way-
die.
We're gonna make our way back under that fence very shortly here. Oh, never mind. We're
So-
skipping that.
Yeah, I don't
Take
trust that.
us.
So, for the first time, we're running to the exit.
Oh, they're all on you. My goodness.
And that's the joy of Ultra. Yeah, there are a lot of spawns. Oh my god, 14 minutes.
Solid. And in case And if this wasn't bad enough, there was in the early access version of this, I think, there was a program that was added at one point called Program Omega, which is basically this, except you get killed in one hit.
On top of that, for Omega, it was forced multiplayer, and you were forced to stick together or you would just die.
So, of course, with the full release, they had to tone that down a little bit.
All right, now we're on to our last trial, which at first everyone seemed to just hate this trial, but then we got worse trials that people hated, so now people actually love this trial.
Cough cough.
So
PTF.
grind the bad apples. So we're actually going to do the current event. So basically, we have like weeklies events with special modifiers. Every once in a while, we'll get an actual event. So we're just doing this because this also has the ultra difficulty plus the events special modifier. So it's even harder than what we just did. So this event, Prime Time, basically, instead of getting not just one, either coil or gooseberry, we'll get them both. How lovely is that? It's very lovely. So we'll still see majority gooseberry since it is a gooseberry trial, but we will see some glimpses of coil running around.
I have to say, I'm actually
The
excited
one
to see this because I have not had a chance to run this yet. So
Oh, okay, I guess my head's just not my body. Oh, wait. Okay. Or no, the TVs are over.
You are an
That's weird.
adult.
Yeah, you
Youth
got
will
you,
not
you
obey
got
our
a
orders and
sling
must be
backwards,
corrected.
where you are
There
not
are
on the chair
children
properly.
murdering adults in the root canal. Punish the children.
Yeah,
so
that
think
can
about
happen.
your apps after this.
Yeah, and this displacement can happen with objects too. Like you can be pulling a lever for an objective and your hand will be off center.
So this trial did actually have a pretty useful strat to actually change your loadout to the backpack perk, which basically gives you an extra inventory slot. That's because in this first section we had to play some mini games that have like 3 targets each. So when you have your stun plus 5 items, that's 6 items, so you can complete 2 mini games without having to go back to get more hearts. But because Ultra takes away an inventory space, it's just not worth it. Some people will still use it just to have extra hearts just in case they miss a target. So now we have 3. So if we miss one, we're kind of screwed.
Alright, so I'm gonna, for the final time, go over this trial. As Ace just said, there are 3 minigames that we have to do. I'm pretty sure. One is in a set spot, the other 2 are randomly scattered. Once we finish those, we can go into the root canal ride, where we will have to push a cart of children to a grinder.
Yeah, we have to punish the misbehaving children, like the TV screen said. Fortunately, we have a really bad blind guy spawn. And I missed 2 targets.
This is the exact reason why people bring backpacks to this trial.
I'm gonna go around. The blind guy is probably like one of the worst enemies. He can't see you, but his movements are just so random. Ooh, Kraken.
Additionally, to know, there's always there's always one that's set for the spawn. The other ones themselves will spawn based upon regions. So one will be on the north side of the map, one will be on the south side of the map. So it is usually easier to kind of follow a little bit in that regard.
These grunts, man.
So
And that
as
is
a
what.
Demi,
Go ahead.
continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and that's especially the worst part with prime time is not only are you dealing with your usual increase of grunts, but also then when you have the two prime assets as well, it makes it very, 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 very difficult.
So as Ace finishes the minigame part, he's gonna have to begin to push the children. There are barriers protected by batteries, which is he's gonna need to take down, and of course there are more grunts on the track because this has the alpha tag.
Additionally, it might look like Ace just changed his mind, and instead of continuing on with the trial, he just wants to run home.
Yeah, I
That's
want
not
my
the case.
Bobby.
I promise you. Basically, once you go inside of that room there, it is a forced cutscene again, but this one, it doesn't restrict you within that area. So we'll use the time to go back and open our pathway back, as well as just find any sort of collectibles, things to use within that might be helpful within the rest of the run. So in here, we're going to be looking for switches to be able to turn off these barriers. Now there are two down here, and then once we push the cart upstairs, there'll be another two. So we'll be looking for those. Now you can also disarm these with your stun. And it looks like they're actually in good spots together there, but you can use your stun to disarm them. It's very tough in game modes like Ultra to determine if it is always going to be a good idea to do it at that point. Just because there's so many enemies that there's a good chance you're just going to need to use your stun.
Along with the longer cooldown on it.
So this is a trial where we'll actually, even though in Ultra, Psychosis really hurts you, but we're gonna use it like everywhere because there's so many enemies and we have to push this boat. It's extreme. It's just worth it. I did not want it there, but okay. The lag just got me.
Now for this next section, we're going to have to do pipes. Now with these pipes, you will see two different basically spawns, the A and the D. One goes downstairs, one goes upstairs, but we have to follow the pipe basically in its path just to be able to find the lever to twist to basically fill up the water again.
Now, unfortunately for Ace, he did not get the upstairs B valve, which he knows better.
That's downstairs.
Oh, right. The downstairs B valve, which he knows better.
So there are like very special ways. There are like set ways. Like at the intersections, that's where they can kind of deviate. And they're just, oh hey Jason, you started playing. There's like certain paths they would take. Like they go this way, then they're guaranteed to like loop around this corner, so you don't have to like follow it the whole time. So there's just like ways for it. It's really confusing sometimes, and it's just a lot to remember, especially on 4 different pipes. That's the wrong one. This is a really bad D pipe. Yeah, so the B pipe and a little bit of the A pipe I can really follow well, but I'm still in the process. The C and D pipes are a lot more complicated to learn. Hey, there's Coil!
So, as Ace finishes up the valves upstairs, he's gonna go back downstairs, he's gonna push the boat slightly further down, so he is able to get his way through to the grinder.
So here I really wanted to save my stun because once we have another objective where we're basically standing still and Mother spawns right here, I'm gonna stun her. That'll be enough to finish the objective.
So once Ace finishes grinding the children, he is going to run into the grinder. I assure you, it is not because he regrets his decisions in his life like all Outlast Trials speedrunners do, because they're speedrunning Outlast Trials, but it is the faster route to get back to the exit.
Alright, his mother did not want to get distracted by that bottle.
Mother can play that. Stop, sir. Not a good girl.
Dodge and weave, dodge and weave.
Dodge and weave, dodge and weave. And that is time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that's not terrible. But yeah, that is Outlast Trials, all the main trials, solo. Hope you all enjoyed.
Oh yeah, good run. I like that. I like that. So it's somewhat easier to follow when it's solo instead of 4 players.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
It is much easier.
Oh, that was really good. That was really good. I was entranced by that entire run.
Very nice.
If you guys would like to make any last minute shout outs or mention anything, this is your time.
Yeah, just shout out to the Outlast community, the speedrunning community in general. It's a very great place to learn some strats. Like someone mentioned earlier, I do have like a complete whole like 30-page guide like on every trial. So it's a good way to get started, and it's a good way to learn all of the strategies for it.
Holy.
But yeah,
Just a quick note, you do not need to read all 30 pages to understand the game.
That's insane. 30 pages. All right. Well, if that's it, then again, GG on the run, GG on the commentating. That was entertaining. We'll be back for, I think, a little bit of an outro after this little intermission. So, GG's again.
Don't you see that I love you so much? Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling, I need your love. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, darling, I need your love. every time we say goodbye, they all see that it's a lie. 'Cause we always give it one last try. Yeah, you've watched me break 1,000 times. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. That's how it goes. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy, happy tonight. Happier tonight. Can't be waiting for you in the morning. I'ma leave without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a. But every time we say goodbye, we all know that it's a lie. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never show. You say you will, but then you don't. That's how it goes. Don't wanna know. I'm turning off my mind so I get by. I just wanna be happy, happy tonight. Happier tonight. Happier tonight. Can't be waiting for you in the morning.
Doing this marathon. We normally do them at the end of the year during the winter. So no, overall,
What
I
difference
think
does
it
that
went really
make?
well. Yeah, it makes a lot of difference. Plus,
Does it?
yeah. Well,
I got
you know what?
central
You didn't
air,
want to.
so
You didn't want to go first, so you can't critique what I said.
I can critique whatever I want. Okay, Tim now.
No, I happen to agree with Mild, except it's not hot. It is absolutely quite the opposite.
Yeah.
But no, I think making the decision to have this second marathon was a fantastic idea, and everyone showed up for it. And I think all the runners brought their absolute A game. Some really entertaining runs today, so I couldn't be happier with it.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, that was definitely good. I enjoyed a lot of the runs because we had little tiny mishaps throughout the thing, but other than that, I think it went pretty smooth.
Absolutely.
We're down a few people than our normal crew who does this, and I still think we pulled it together. Pretty prep for the big one at the end of the year.
Yep, the big dog for sure. For sure.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, huge shout out to everybody that attended, ran, came through. Huge shout out to all of our sponsors for putting together playlists, letting us use their music, all that good jazz. Yeah, like the other staff member said, man, this was kind of a trial run for us because we usually only host one marathon per year. So this is our inaugural summer marathon, and yeah, it went well. We learned a lot. We did a lot, but it wouldn't be possible without the community. So you guys are amazing. And again, huge shout out to all the runners that got accepted. Huge shout out to everybody that submitted. Huge shout out to everybody that's been in the chat all day. You guys are amazing, lurking, chilling, all that good jazz.
Yeah, we really appreciate you. Seriously.
Yeah.
We didn't have any assistants. Normally we're like our organized with other people like speedrun.com or someone else like also hosting us. And I think given what we put into it, we got a lot out of it. So it's really appreciated everyone who was chilling.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, absolutely, man. I agree. So yeah, with that.
Speaking of chilling, do we wanna mention the after event?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Yeah. So one last thing. Again, huge shout out to the community. You guys are amazing. Our next event will be the Winter 2024 Marathon in about 6 months. So keep your eyes peeled for details on that and all that good jazz. And like I said, you'll see this uploaded on YouTube and all that stuff later in the week. So that does it, my friends. That does it for Indie Horror Speedruns Summer Marathon
There's
2024.
still one more thing that we need to mention before we end.
Right. And I'll be
So-
getting to that.
You getting to that? You
Yeah.
don't you want me to announce it now?
What is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you may have noticed throughout the stream, our Discord link popping up every now and then. So we welcome everyone that's not in the Discord to join the Discord, because once we end here, we are all convening in the Discord for an after party of sorts, which we do weekly. It is the Indie Horror Speedruns movie night. So we're going to be watching 3 movies tonight.
This is week what, like 35 or something?
I think it might be 40 or something.
40?
No, there's no way it's
We've
40.
been going for a really long time. We watched a ton of movies, and I mean, we still have a ton to watch. You know, it's a fun little get together.
It's almost 100 movies we've watched.
Yeah, like, you don't have to be a speedrunner. I mean, it's for everybody. There's a whole crew of people that come in just for the movies. You know, so.
Yep. So we'll be hanging out in the Discord. Make sure you stop by, come chill, having a little after party, just talking about the event and all that good jazz. Lots to improve on, lots to take forward, and again, huge shout out to all you guys. You're fucking amazing. Thank you. Huge shout out to the staff, Mild, Tim, and Pleasantly. Obviously, these are the hands behind the event, right? I'm sitting here running the stream, and these 3 are sitting here running around with their heads cut off. So, let's get it, man. We will see you in December for Indie Horror Speedruns Marathon 2024. And of course, the Indie Horror Speedruns podcast, right? We'll definitely be running an episode about this over the course of the next couple weeks. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow the channel. Go ! Follow, all that good jazz. But until next time, it's your boys Slays, Pleasantly, Mild Got Daddy, and Tim Trollgasm. We'll see you next time.
Much love.
See you.
Thank you.
Relief without giving a warning. Relief without giving a you're asking me to say goodbye. We all know that it's a lie. I just wanna be high.